2022 has really challenged our ideas about how life works, how money comes into the bank, how business is conducted. And we're being invited into a whole new way of being in relationship with our souls and with the universe and with what Maii calls the universal banking system. Join us to find out more.
Soul Nectar Show. The Soul Nectar Show. You're invited, delighted to discover who you are. Anything is possible if you believe. So join us on this beautiful journey. Soul Nectar Show. Soul Nectar Show.
Before we start this episode, I, Carrie Hummingbird,
And I, Akeem Sami.
want you to know that
You are invited
you're invited
to
join
Soul
Nectar Tribe.
If you like what you hear on Soul Nectar Show,
You will love being in person with us in Soul Nectar Tribe.
we invite you to check it out. First 30 days is free.
Right now, go to carriehummingbird.com, KERRI, hummingbird.com/membership, and sign up.
We'll see you at our next tribe gathering.
And now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Nectar Show, that show where we talk about all things essence, where we gather around the campfire and we share our stories of connection to that which is bigger than us, to the great mystery beyond the veil, to those synchronistic moments that lead us inexorably to a deeper understanding of ourself, of what we're doing here on earth, and what this experience is actually about, and how do we navigate it, because 2022 is a whole new level of gray going on here. We thought that the pandemic was the thing, and now 2022 said, hi, everybody. And as I talked to many of you at the beginning of the year, this is Carrie Hummingbird, of course, I should say. Carrie Hummingbird, I love these shows. I love being here with you every single week. And you know, one of the things I mentioned earlier in other broadcasts closer to the beginning of the year was like, this is the year of the water tiger. So we've got water tiger energy. This is, by the way, this is what 3 water tigers feel like going down the river together. That's what it feels like. We're experiencing that. Isn't it fun? So how do we make it fun? How do we enjoy it? Because for those of us that like predictability or like stability or like things to work the way they used to work, or want to know how like step A leads to step B leads to step C, because that's how our brains are programmed, we're probably going crazy right now. And we are going to have to find another way of navigating this. So that's what our guest is here to help us with today. Maii is here with us. Welcome, Maii.
Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. And hi, everyone. So excited to be here.
So excited you're here. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Maii. She is a podcast host and motivational speaker and the founder of Empowered Muse. I'm also on that show, so I'll give you guys a link to that in the show notes. Coming from an Asian background, Maii has thrived to break free from the social norms, activated her truest potential, and manifested crazy big success and money by simply using the Spiritual Femininity System. She currently helps ambitious women tap into their hidden potentials, using the feminine power to start living a fulfilling life of both love and success. And her mission in life is to empower the current and the next woman generation in owning their big dreams and succeed effortlessly. So there's a free gift that's going to be shared in the notes, and give you all the access and all the deets. So I know what's on everybody's mind is like, what do we do with 2022? And we're going to definitely address that. But Maii, what do you want to share about yourself and how you got started on this path of becoming who you are today?
So excited to share about the story. And it started only just about 3 years ago. My baby was 6 months at that time, and I was raising her by myself. And at that moment, trust me, like I've never ever think in my entire life that I can run a business or just make some money. The reason I became a coach was actually because I was committed to growth and change. Because I realized that without changing and growing every single day, you always left behind. And worse yet, you were always going to be put in the position of facing a lot of challenge that you don't have the capacity to deal with. And I have dealt through some of that major life breakdown before, and I learned a hard way that I cannot just sit still and be in that same comfortable zone for years and years. And so I was committed to grow, and this is why I become a coach. I didn't realize that that mission led me to having more women claiming their voice in love, claiming their worth. And then I suddenly found a path to succeed faster without working harder. And because I've always truly believed that we are meant to have an easy life. It's not because we are lazy, but it's because anything that is meant for us is going to come very easily. So because I believe in that so thoroughly, I found a path to the success in an effortless way. Like I've from the 6-month-old baby and running a business, I break through that in 9 months. I got my first 6-figure year in 2020, and then in 2021 I more than double that, and cutting half of the work. And here I am on the path to, making million in the most miraculous way. This is the mission. I'm not sure when is it going to happen, but I really committed to the path, because I want women to see, well, we don't have to follow masculine structure and working harder and, step by step. And it doesn't have to be, you have 1,000 audiences, then you make, $1,000 per month. It doesn't work that way for me. I've made, 6-figure when I was only having 1,500 people in my audiences. And so it's just proving that anything can absolutely freaking happen when we work from a place of soul, not from a place of strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, soul, not strategy. Those masculine principles, that's what they teach us. Like when you go to, if you study with any kind of coaches of spirituality or this paradigm, they say, okay, you've got to get, this many people in your audience, and then you've got to hold events, and then at these events, if you have this many people come, then this many people are going to sign up. And this year has broken all of those rules. I mean, myself included, I've experienced it. I know that many other coaches have experienced it. Do you think that people just aren't ready to do spiritual work? Do you think that they're freezing like a deer? Do you think, what's going on with people that, in your point of view, that makes them not, ready to commit to a deeper spiritual inquiry?
I think it comes down to the biggest misperception or illusion of fear. Like if I were to sit still and do meditation and not taking action, I'm not going to make money, because we were conditioned and we were taught that we can only earn, we see how we earn living, because we have to act so that we earn some money. And it's that narrative inside of our head that, oh my gosh, I have to exchange some action so that I can actually earn some money. That was basically how a lot of people earn their bare minimum, right? It's not the right or wrong here. It's just that the first stage that we went through was earning bare minimum. We make enough money to put food on the table, pay the bill, have the rent, get taken care of, and that is bare minimum. And this is how you can get job from McDonald's or any shops assistants, and you can literally earn enough so that you pay for your living. But we become coaches not to just living in a bare minimum. We become coaches, and I truly believe that we become coaches so that we free other people in this journey. And it's just freedom from freedom from head chatter, freedom from emotional negative points, freedom from conditioning, freedom from the past. But if we don't free ourselves from this bare minimum survival living, then we cannot free anyone. So knowing that as a business owner or as a coach, you actually got to live beyond a bare minimum. You actually have another step to go towards, which is the place where you live in a purposeful way. You live in a purposeful way where money just come in to support whatever mission you have. Money would come in, maybe not through your business right now, but it would come in anyway, and it would help you feeling safe, secure, and excited to do the work and deliver the best work. But the thing is, we all we are thinking still from a place of bare minimum. So that's why we think, oh, if we don't take action right now, we cannot earn some money. I'm the proof that it's actually otherwise. When I shift and I realized that the money that coming bigger for me is not just for my bare minimum, it's not just for my survival living, but it's meant for a bigger purpose. there was a time where I launched my podcast, Impact Me podcast, and it was only just about a year and a half ago. And at that moment when I launched it, there was no one sponsoring it. I don't have, any selling courses. I only have, 350 people in my audiences. And I don't have a lot of clients at that time. But when I launched it, it was the purpose that I wanted to spread the knowledge. I wanted to share what I learned. I wanted to help women getting on to the path of living in their best potential life without sacrificing anything. And I came from that missions, and I just didn't look for money at that time yet. And it grew to like 100,000 downloads within 1.5 years, beyond what I can imagine. And at the same time, it also grew my audiences. It also grew the trust with them and me. And it's just paying me back so much more right now. And so I want people to understand that when you have a purpose and a mission, there is always I call it like a bank, like universal bank, where they are going to invest in you so that you can fulfill that purpose and mission. Not a lot of people would have the bank from their business because they feel safe with their business. A lot of people have the bank through their husband, through the parents, through the relatives, through someone who randomly donates to them. So by you really allowing yourself to go to spiritual journey, you connect to that universal bank, and you have access to that, and that money would come to you anyway. And it's not firstly in the first 3 to 6 months, maybe it's not coming through your business, or maybe it does, but it is always going to come to you anyway. And that is where people get hang up, I believe.
I love that. I want to tell a funny story is that so I had the same experience many transformational leaders had this year, where like you did the normal thing, and then like you got like nothing back the way that you thought, right? And you're like, wait a second, I don't have anybody in my program. I have like this many people in my program. It used to be like this, and it's like stressful, right? And so I also got COVID, right? So the world was like, the universe is telling me, stop,
slow down.
And I was like, Great Awakening, let's go do it, like let's do the Great Awakening. And the universe is like, stop. So and I got into, that I got another level of that scarcity fear came out. It was like, oh no, like that, because your survival, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, where's the money going to come from? Well, within, I would say, it was like mid-February, late February, all of a sudden I got this random person come up on my doorstep when I was sitting outside, and he's like, can I take a look at your roof? And I was like, why? And he says, well, because, we had a hailstorm last year, and you're coming up on the deadline to getting your roof replaced if there's damage. I'm like, well, and I normally say no to that kind of thing, but I was like, sure, go ahead. So he goes up there. Anyway, this entire thing transpired, which is really weird. At the culmination of it, I'm getting a brand new roof.
How much was that costing, if you don't mind sharing?
It's secretly costing me less than the security deposit.
Wow.
So I'm paying like $13.14 for a brand new roof.
And I believe, because I've got a same client.
And those numbers are actually pretty significant too, but go ahead. Yeah.
13, 14 is really, really good. But like, I have a same client where she was also in the States, and she got, a storm, like a tree falling onto her roof. And during the call, we was just talking about manifestation and attraction. During the call, she got a call for the insurance that used to refuse paying for the roof, damage. Now come in and replace the whole thing. And it was worth $20,000 for her. So I don't know how much that was.
Yeah, the roof is worth like, $17,000 or $16,000 or something like that. So like a brand new roof for like. Now, but the universal banking system. So this is interesting, because the night before that happened, I said to my husband walking back from dinner, I said, you know what? I welcome my father, who had passed away, my natural father, to help me out.
Wow. I had to.
And the next day, and this guy had the same last name.
Wow.
So that's where I started realizing, wait a second. Okay, so now I'm back in the mystery. So when I talk about the mystery, like I hear what you're talking about, universal bank system and the feminine. I also, in shamanic terms, we call it the mystery. because like you're stepping into the mystery. And when you step into the mystery, it doesn't go point A to point B to point C in a linear fashion. It could, I mean, it's like a river. Like a river flows, and this leaf you place on the river might flow all the way down, and get caught in an eddy, while this other leaf leaps down the stream, and then you think, oh my God, that leaf is getting ahead. And then that leaf gets caught in an eddy, and this other leaf gets out of the eddy and goes down the stream. It's like, so like there's this way that it's unpredictable.
It's totally unpredictable, and I am excited. Like, as we share before this conversation, we had the weirdest the weirdest beginning of 2022, right? And I believe a lot of people who are listening to this also have the same thing. I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just the weirdest. It's not
weird.
It's not predictable at all. And I actually remind myself every single freaking day, like, oh my gosh, because this is not known, it means I'm in the unknown, which is your language's mystery zone. And the unknown is where the dark space is. But the dark space is where we were putting back into mother womb. And that was where the potential, the rebirth, the next beautiful thing is about to happen. It's about to burst.
Oh, I love that idea. That makes me, because the womb is the center of creation.
It is. And that is the darkest space you can ever find anyway. But then I remember I got reminded for the story from what Dr. Wayne Dyer, he told it in one of the YouTube, so you can search it. Like, he was telling the story of how there's two souls, the love soul and the ego soul. And the love soul and the ego soul was also inside the dark space, yeah. And then the ego told the love, hey, like, oh my gosh, like it is so dark, there's no way out, just go back to the beginning, just go back to where we were started. And the love said, no, I'm eagerly excited to meet my creator. I'm eagerly excited to go through this dark and hot and crampy and challenging space so that I can come out and meet my creator. And this is exactly what happened inside of us when we go through the mystery or the unknown zone, right? There was a part of us saying, oh my gosh, like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I moving forward? What is it here? I couldn't make sense of this. The ego side, the fear side, the dark side talks very loudly. There's another side of us where we have the love side, the side where we connected so strongly with the spiritual realm, and we know that coming out of this, it's another level of growth. And we don't predict it. We couldn't predict it because whatever had happened was known. Whatever had happened was known.
That was just so crazy when you were talking, because I was sitting here like, so the Great Awakening is like and I keep hearing rebirth, reclaim.
Yes, rebirth, reclaim.
And like those are the words that just keep coming up for me for the last year, the rebirth word, and then for like the last few months, the reclaim word. And it's like, well, wait a second. This is like a rebirthing of our consciousness. Just like a baby is inside the womb and it's like got one reality as it's forming itself physically, but then it does have to push itself out. Like it's got to be pushed out of the mother.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have used this metaphor of the butterflies, right? Like to explain what's going on. So the butterflies were worms, and then they made a cocoon, and then they fell apart and became nothing. And then in the middle of that nothingness, they started becoming this new creature. And then once they became that, they had to claw their way out of the womb.
Yeah.
That's a messy process. Everyone says that's so beautiful, but actually we're in it right now. And I can say it's it's messy, like you said. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's dark, it's unknown, it's painful. It's, at the same time that it's, there's some beauty in all that. And I think we're here to discover how that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I believe so thoroughly that this year we will put onto another level, and not a lot of people actually experience this. So if you are experiencing this, you are chosen to move ahead of time. You are chosen to pave the way. And last year was very easy. I was, I can connect like this very easily. And this year we were challenged to put to the next level. And I got a beautiful reminder that hey, like we finished the level of last building. We was living in it, we were playing in it, we were playing at the top of the game, we was having it easily, we connected, we get aligned, we download, we have intuitive hit, we launch something and it just hit so well. But it's time to move on to the next building, which is higher. And the process of where we are right now, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I'm going back to square one or even negative -1. No, we're actually starting from level 10 onwards. People like recognize that even if you're facing a plateau in your life, even if you're facing some stuckness in your life, look at other areas. It's definitely are on the rising higher building. It's definitely are changing. Like maybe your relationship got a lot better. Maybe your connection with yourself got a lot better. Maybe your spiritual connection got a lot deeper. So look for the thing that proves to you that you already are level 10 and actually moving on forward, because the money follow when you feel excited and joy and happy and safe. Money is not going to show up when you feel fear, insecurity, and -1 and everything. Yeah, money is just energy. So don't look for money to prove and validate where you are at. Look for other things, look for intangible things. And definitely you would see that. For me, for the beginning of the year, I've gone through a significant body transformation. I've lost 8 centimeters all around my body, and I don't just lose a lot of kilos. I lose only like 6 or 7 kilos, but I lost like a lot of fat, and I look completely different. And if I were to just look at my number, it was like, oh, I'm the same. No, actually I'm not. I'm wearing beautiful dresses. I can have fun. I come out like feeling a lot more confident. I treat myself better. I don't even want sugars right now. And like, it's so different energy in that relationship. I've got better relationship with my baby and my mom and everyone around me. Like everything around in my life except money, it's on the high riser. So when we're focusing on that, what else is actually increasing instead of plateauing, we would attract more increasing, and money would come in that sense.
Yeah, and I want to say I also really love what you said before we got on the call about how when these blocks started showing up in the space, right? I mean, we're a collective, so it shows up for everybody. I don't really think there's anybody that escaped it this year. You said, well, it must be a time for healing. Like, when you saw things stagnate, instead of like trying to push the river forward, like me, I'm gonna try again. If I do it like this, it's just like I'm like a cat with a mouse. It's like, how am I gonna catch that mouse? You're just like, oh, okay, I must be time to heal.
Yeah, because I know this is the secret for my effortless success system. I know, well, by the end of the year, if I have that $1 million drop in out of nowhere, I'll be so hiccup busy and I have no chance to heal. I know that, right? And I know that, and I'm preparing for that. If like tomorrow you're going to Hawaii, today are you gonna sit down and feel sad? No. Even today is raining and you're not sure the flight can take off tomorrow, but you have a ticket and it's onboarding. Are you gonna go out into the rain, go to the shopping mall, buying beautiful dresses, packing up and dance around the house? Yes. So this is what I train myself and my clients to do when we are in the unknown. I actually specifically tailor helping people through the unknown with my signature program, Dare to Dream, because I've known that so many people couldn't navigate through the dark space and they lost hope, they give up, and they come back to square one, basically very easily, because the fear is so loud. So it has to have a system. It has to have you have to understand the whole complete journey. Step one. I mean, I'm not saying step one in action, but like a spiritual structure. Yeah, spiritual structure. Step one, step two, like when are you going to face your dark shadow, when you have to heal your inner child, when you have to remove your emotional blockage so that you can come out of it. Like I've thoroughly believed that we need that, because not a lot of people talk about the dark space. People would talk about, next level and, enjoy and manifestation. But well, hello, what am I going to do if I don't feel good today? If I feel like, so stuck and nothing is in my life is working. I have a client, she wanted to write a book and she signed up with my one-on-one because she really wanted to tap into that writer, and because she was shifting from a place of business coach into really service. And 2 months in a row, no kidding, she's got no childcare. Her little baby, was also same age with mine, got turned back from a childcare, and then no one, like, she got 3 applications to be babysitting her child, and three sisters just dropped out of nowhere and then dropped off. She got her hopes up and hopes down, and navigating through that was not easy. But because she have a bigger mission to write her book, to share the mission to the world, it requires her a deeper healing space, a deeper spiritual understanding, a deeper connection with that missions. And that is what we need to do. I'm sure everyone here listening have a bigger mission in 2022. So look for an opportunity to deepening yourself before that can happen and manifest it, because I feel like we are called to do that right now. If we don't have that solid foundation laid out, we would be shaken by a storm when we get there in a higher. It's just like a tree. If you try to expand bigger but not deepening the roots, the tree would not last for long.
Yeah, every card pull, you're speaking you're speaking the language of all of my oracle cards. Like, they keep trying to tell me through these oracle cards. They're like, okay, just let the seed incubate as long as it needs to incubate. And when the soil conditions are right and everything is right, the shoot will sprout, and it will, and you won't even believe it. And so just like trust that this, that your soul is like, my soul knows, like, okay, this is how much water, this is how much sunlight, this is how much rest, this is how much, and all of that is like, it's a magical ingredient. And, and then, which is me, like, I'm the seed, right? So it's like, okay, can I let myself grow? Oh my gosh, and I just remembered I used to write this song years ago, Just Let That Flower Grow. Like, that was my first little song, is just let the flower grow. Just let her grow.
And sometimes we just need to go back to the basic.
Yeah, it's like we have to just let ourselves grow and trust. It's kind of like one thing I've been exploring in the last, this 2020 so far is I did get like a flurry of healing sessions. Like, they just like I was busy every day, all day long, doing these healing sessions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. And it's exhausting. Like, there's so many, like every 30 minutes, I have another healing session, like day after day after day. I was like, oh my goodness sakes. And I got to the end of that month and I was like, so I have just like canceled my calendar for like for a few, I don't know how long, until I feel rested, because that was a lot, right? So it was like my soul showing me too, like, oh, this is what's coming, this level of demand, this need. Can you handle it? And wow, that's a lot. Okay, let me deepen my roots. Let me self-care, let me nurture, let me go to the next place of deepness within myself, right? That's what you're trying to say, isn't it? Like, preparing.
Yeah, and the place of preparing, because I always remind myself that, and I've got that, seed in the soil and then suddenly it's sprout. Like, I've got that before, so I understand so well how it went. Like, I can share that story quickly. Like, at the beginning of 2020, I suddenly see that I really want a 10K month, because that's how I want to thrive in my business. Before that, I've got like 1,000 here and there. It's not consistent. And I was even working part-time because it was not predictable that I can put the money on the table if I rely upon my business. But at the beginning of 2020, pandemic happened, and then we were put in lockdown. Like, Australia had put in lockdown for 6 weeks at that time. So there's no part-time job. There's no opportunity to earn money. And I realized that I've got to make this work. And I just go back to literally having so much service and just preparing myself. I remember I draw a lot, I do a lot of healing songs, I dance a lot, I move a lot, I do a lot of spiritual workout, like every single morning, 2 hours of prayers. I was consistent with that one. And January, nothing happened. I've got a lot of people signing up and then dropping out. And then so it wouldn't work. February, I've got a summit. It didn't bring in a lot of people. It bring only 50 new people, and not a lot of people sign up for one-on-one. February, March, nothing happens. And I remember on the last day of March, there was a girl who just suddenly see me on Facebook, and she loved everything I said. And she was a coach, and she was a influencer in Vietnam. And she just shared about me because she absolutely loved anything I said. And suddenly like 350 people flying into my energy. like out of nowhere. And then the good thing was, like, not a lot of them become my client, but then I feel called to launch a feminine class that teaching them. I thought everyone know about feminine, just like I thought everyone would know how to connect spiritually. No, everyone doesn't know. So I launched that class and I've got 75 people signing up for it. Now, before I launched the class, I saw the vision of, if you want to make $10,000, it's launch a $33 class on feminine energy. I put that on the side for 2 months and I couldn't act on it because I couldn't believe in that logical sense. It's not logical at all. But then I acted on it, and it brought me 75 new clients, and $33 doesn't make $10,000, but this is what happened. So out of that 75 new clients that's going through my programs, 5 of them sign up for one-on-one, and then 10 of them go through my advanced program, which is Dare to Dream and other group coaching. And at the end of May, it was $25,000 that dropped into my energy. So, and then from that point onward, it would never go down lower than 10,000 monthly. That was how I made 6-figure in 2020. And the first 3 months was completely shattered. So I reminded myself that story this time of the year. And I was like, yep, if I know that at the end, it's going to happen anyway, I may just well just enjoy the ride, heal whatever I heal, because I'm going to prepare myself for the bigger thing to come in. And that lead to a lot of cleanup in my business, that lead to a lot of hiring and delegation and setting up structure. I believe that, soul and then come structure would always support us, because we need that feminine intuitive direction, and then we need the structure to come in to give that safe line. So I'm doing that from a place of, where else can I clean up, where else can I preparing for it. So just get prepared.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing those insights and those details. Appreciate that. For anybody listening back who's like, thank you, that was very illuminating. There's another way to go about this than to try to force it or use these old, outdated models. They don't work with spiritual stuff anyway.
I mean, they don't work with spiritual coaches like us. It doesn't.
They don't work. No.
Oh, and by the way, I coach a lot of strategy coach. So basically, they use pure action masculine. It doesn't work for them as well. Just so you know.
It stops working. That's kind of, I think we've been leading up to that anyway. Like what I've been experiencing is that stuff never has worked for me. And the people that it did work for, this year it stopped working. And they all freaked out. They were like, oh my God, it's not working. I was like, well, that stuff never worked for me. So, okay.
The thing is, they think that is the only way to success.
It's not.
It's not. There's a better way. There's a more fulfilling
alignment.
Alignment. I would say alignment is one hell of the process, because at the beginning, when we choose to be alignment, it means you're raising the price, you're choosing a different tier of clients. People are leaving. Like, I got a big story out of that. People leaving, there was a period of my time where no one comments on my Facebook posts. And like, am I gonna not post? No. There was a time where I went through COVID, and my feeling go like this, like on and off, on and off, and on and off. And my podcast download go exactly the same way, like on and off. Like there was like 10 down, there was like 50 downloads the lowest, and then like 150, 160, and then 50, and then 160. Like, it's exactly the same wavelength. It's no kidding. It's happened for a week. I even posted on my Facebook because it was so funny how it meshes with our energy.
Oh, that's so fascinating. Yeah,
I know. It meshes. And then there was even like there was a time where after that 3 days where I neutralized, I got into another big deep, and it go even deeper, but it go higher. So it's like 30 going to like 200, 30 going to 200 for like a week length. It's so funny. It's just that alignment. And this is how I was reminding myself, even no one watching me, but I have a message, I have a story, I have something to share, and it's going to serve someone. Like, I don't care, even if I make no money at all, which is ridiculously wrong, like not true. Like, I always see how money comes in every single month at my baseline right now. My baseline is not just, a few thousand, it's a lot higher than that. And it always come in, even if I don't make sales. So money would come in anyway. And I would just go up and show it up and share and talk about it. Just share about like you're making tons of money, because it's coming. It's coming.
Ah, so inspiring, so helpful, and so inspiring. Thank you, Maii, for sharing this with us today. And I know that you have a free gift for our audience. Did you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah. So if anyone would love to get out of the resistance and get out of procrastination and perfectionist and really wanted to learn how to take inspire action, because I believe inspire action is the aligned action, the one action that actually lead to that next big thing. Just like how I launched that $33 feminine class, it doesn't make sense, but it's aligned, and that actually leads to the result, which is more significant than you can imagine. And I have many stories like that. I've got another one. I've reached out to a woman. Her name just keep popping up into my mind, and I reached out to her. I didn't know that she was looking for a mother and a coach like me at that time, because she was a business coach. I just reached out and say, hey, like, I would love to do some collab. And I remember that moment I wrote the email, I put in, well, I'm also a mom and I have this little 2 years old, and I would love to share more about the mom tips to people. It's frequently like doesn't match with what she does and what I do. I don't usually do that. But then she replied immediately. She said she's looking for a mother coach to feature in a bigger national summit for us. She doesn't have advertising on it. She doesn't talk about it at all. I didn't know she was having that. And I was invited as a first guest, and it brought me another wave of client as well. It was like, wow, like, so one aligned action, which doesn't make sense, but when you get it so clearly and so intuitively, you can definitely create a bigger result. And that is how I act effortlessly. I just act on aligned action. I don't do massive action. I don't do consistent sales and consistent marketing and all of that, but I do aligned action. If I feel like posting something today, even if I feel like posting 2 things, I post 2 things. So if you wanted to learn that Inspire Action Masterclass, go to bit.ly/act on dream. So bit.ly/act on dream. Or you can definitely follow me on Instagram at empower.muse. Just DM me and say you come from Carrie and want to get the Inspire Action Masterclass. I will give you the link. My team will give you the link, or the link will be in the show note for Carrie.
Yes, I will definitely put it in the show notes. Okay, so this is the time of the show that I ask everybody to please like, share, subscribe this episode out, and be inspired with who you share it with, and be inspired with engaging with Maii. And if you feel your heart calling you, then do it. Don't delay. Don't delay, because that's your heart calling.
Yes, act on it. And thank you, Carrie, for this beautiful space. I'm so excited to have you on my show also, and to really share the message from my heart. I would love to interact with you guys. If you listen to this episode and love it, and you feel like all sort of emotion that jumping up and down, just tag us. For me, it's at empower.muse on Instagram, and for Carrie, it is
Carrie Hummingbird.
Yeah, so just
everywhere.
Let us know how do you feel, and what kind of action are you going to take from this new mindset, a new level of being.
Yes, please engage with us. That's called engagement. Engage. Okay, so we're going to give kisses now. Would you like to join me in giving them kisses? I always give people kisses on the way out. Here they come, everybody. We love you. Love you. Love you all, and we'll see you next week on Soul Nectar Show. Bye for now, everyone. If you found even one gold nugget in this episode of Soul Nectar Show, will you do us a favor? Will you subscribe, like, and share this episode? Maybe even write a comment and let us know what you thought about it. We really, really want to engage with you at a much deeper level. Let's be part of community together. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now. To dive in deeper to nourishing conversation, visit soulnectar.show.
Soul Nectar Show. Awaken away to show. Take a sip from the drip of the nectar, from the source of who you are. Yeah, yeah.